What's that? That's where problem births, where kids are nursed back to health. And God would say, why are you doing that? What do you mean, why? You ever hear of Darwin? Do you ever think of the reason why this happens? You think this is a mistake? Oh, God, for God's sakes. Oh, come on. And what about this? Hey, so-and-so, do you hear about the fact that our Alzheimer's rates are going up? Really? What he died? He died of what? 90? You're not supposed to live to 90. Why are you living to 90? No wonder you've got your Alzheimer's rates are going up. Of course they are. So this is one of those things where when we push things and then we try to appoint, it's like the old days about marijuana was a gateway drug because everybody who's on heroin started off with marijuana. Can you imagine somebody actually going to heroin and saying, oh, I did heroin and I shot between my toes and my eyeballs, but pot? No way. Of course they would have started off with that. And they did Mother's Milk and cartoons and they listened to music. So correlation and cause are two different things. Remember years ago they said gamers and violent video games make people violent. No, they don't, because in Japan they had the most violent games of all time and they never had this. So people always want to find causation and connections. This was fate that you and I met, Shaun. It was meant to be. No, it's not. It's a randomness. It's just entropy. For God's sakes. Let me ask you something. If I had a deck of cards and say, give me six, pull out 6 cards. Okay. Do you know the odds of you getting those 6 cards in that order? It's like 1 out of 4 trillion. But it doesn't mean anything to you. But if it had, now try to do it again. You'll never be able to do it. Do you know how rare that is? Pulling a deuce, a 7, an 8, an ace. Doesn't mean anything to you. It does if I give it something. If I append some kind of reason to it. If I add reason to it. So we're always trying to do this. And whenever there's death, this is my favorite, with all due respect to Mr. Gotti. There's something I call auto mourn. And it's not just an Instagram or a social media phenomenon. This is when people will outdo you in terms of the feeling of loss they have. No words. Oh, God, no. Oh, Jesus. Oh, whoever it is. It doesn't matter because I want to show you that my grief is worse than yours. Oh, no, you think or here in New York, I've got all my friends. We always try to sift through pictures of, here I am standing next to Irv Gotti. Here I am next to, see, I knew him. You didn't know him. So I feel my grief is worse than yours. So shut up. Oh, come on. That is so strange. The way we try to capitalize. By the way, there's also something called auto loot. This is whenever there's a breakdown in order, people will break into liquor stores and start stealing things. That's another story. I'll get into that later on.
You've got a question from Sim. Did Lionel just blame neurodivergence on geriatric pregnancy?
No. Blame it? No. Is it a correlation? You betcha. Old eggs, old sperm. Yep. Correlation? You betcha. Absolutely. Cause? No. Correlation? Absolutely. Sure there is. Look it up. There are different things that are attributed to. Remember, you can't point to things. You can't, we always think, men especially think, oh, our sperm are just as good, the motility. No, they're not. No, they're not. We're not supposed to be having children.
Sim didn't appreciate the voice. I asked you the question.
Why is Sim wearing what is this? Is this, last time I saw this, it was in the surveillance video. Anyway.
love the shades, Sim.
But I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for certain things. This is my favorite one too. I like when they say this. People who take SSRIs, there's a link between some type of I do a lot of these on your show because I don't want to use the word. There's a lot of violence and certain type of self harm by people who take antidepressants, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, Prozac and all that kind of stuff. And I said, aha, Even in the literature, it says there's a connection. Even in the connection, okay, fine. Well, people forget to realize is that, well, why are they taking SSRIs, antidepressants in the first place? Because they're depressed. And of course there's going to be a link to it, you stupid son of a bitch. Of course there is. It's the group in the first place. You're taking people who are taking antidepressants and you're saying it was the antidepressant that did. No, it was the thing that made them take the antidepressant. It's weird. You know, what comes first? My favorite is this one. Have you ever heard this in the UK? Whenever there's a full moon, you can better believe they've proved it. That on emergency rooms, and we have 911 and emergency calls, because whenever there's a full moon, because as you know, Shaun, what does the moon do?
American Werewolf in London.
No, but it does. We have tides. It affects tides. And the body is 98, and the number changes, 96, 90, 98%. That's right. It's 98% water and fluid, and the moon causes, and they come up, lycanthropy. Are you familiar with lycanthropy? There we go.
What does it mean?
Lycanthropy, werewolves, wolf, be the whole notion of the moon. What these idiots don't understand is most crimes and most terrible things occur at night when there's a moon. And number two, the tidal effects are only on open systems like oceans, not lakes, not a glass of water, not a bathtub. We're a contained system. People just make this stuff up. People walk around with these half-baked ideas about this. And look at the way we talk about death. Look, we always say, oh, death is so, it is. I like when they say, I was listening before we did the show. Do you know how he died? Yes, I know how he died. It's called, we were an obligate aerobe. His heart stopped. There was oxygen deprivation. There was an ischemia. That's how he died. Why is another story. It's another story completely. But how? This process is so simple. It's amazing that we get up every day. It is life is an incredible thing. How it even happens, how things just don't short circuit is beyond me. So anyway, Justin Bieber, pay attention to him. Pay attention. He is not looking good at all.
Let's get a picture of him up. Let me see.
Oh my God. It looks like he's in a death camp.
Justin Bieber.
Don't forget, remember he has Ramsay Hunt syndrome. Remember Ramsay Hunt.
That's the latest one of him with his boxers hanging
First
out.
of all, who was the idiot who did this goddamn pants falling down? How did that ever look? And I'm a child of the 60s to 70s when black folks were the slickest and the best dressed and everything. They were walking around with their ass hanging out. I don't understand. Who started this? How about your fly open? There we go. Look at him. He wants so hard. He wants so bad to be black. You're not black. You're a white kid from Canada, for God's sakes. Let's stop this. I love when all of a sudden they do this. They're black. Remember when that Compton thing and the N-word? I'm an N from Compton. Hey, mother. Excuse me. Your name is Shaun O'Reilly. You're from Muskogee, man. Stop acting like this. Looks like he hasn't slept for a long time. No. But here, Pam, you're missing the point. Why hasn't he slept? Not that he hasn't slept, as why hasn't he slept? Shaun, you ever look like that? Come on, be honest, my friend. Come on, you got to be there.
So there's a theory of rear end availability, displaying rear end availability in jail. The punks with the put it this way: there was a whole thing about. I heard something going a little bit about jail as well. In the old days, as you know, there are no belts in jails. No belts, nothing to hurt yourself with. So consequently, pants were loose and that sort of thing. Here's one for you. Ready for this? There's a fellow named Michael Baden. Michael Baden is the premier forensic pathologist, and he did a thing on tattoos. And one of them was that a lot of guys, Spanish and South American types had this La Madonna de Cobre, this Madonna figure on the small of their back was this la caridad de whatever it was. And what was amazing is that when the reason why they did it was this is to prevent you from being in jail to be deliveranced. You got a nice mouth. Anyway. And the reason why is that if you were put in that position, whoever was doing it would have to look down and see the Madonna on the small of your back. And that was a story. Another true story. You're going to love this one. There was this fellow, my true story. A fellow died, and he had on his male member the name, the name, your name. By the way, look at this. Is this like the great before or after?
They're saying they're worried he's got Lyme's disease, not Lyme disease.
That's the least of his problem. Lyme disease is the least some kind of autoimmune. No. First of all, look at the blotches. This looks like, look at the skin. Listen, if I didn't know better, I would say this guy's tweaking. There's a place. Do me a favor. Look up Kensington, which is outside of Philadelphia. Kensington. They call it Kenzo. Kensington used to be, maybe not now, the Night of the Living Dead, where people are frozen and they're walking around with sores and dry sockets from the meth, and they pick, and they also have parasitosis where they think there's bugs underneath this. Oh, it's phenomenal. This looks like somebody who I've represented a few times. And by the way, he's doing this so that you see him. He wants you to see him. He doesn't have to be walking around like this. First of all, you know how close they had to get up with that? Forget the telephoto lenses. He wants to be seen. Because these people are so sick as long as they're in the news. Look at Fiddy when he gives Irv Gotti. Hello, I'm Irv Gotti. Anyway, when he was giving Irv a hard time, he's in the news. These people are attention whoas, as we say in New York City. And as far as he's concerned, and look at that wife he's married to and her family and the whole bit. I mean, there we go. This is it. These are some of my clients. Do you know, and this is important, when was the last time Beiber had a hit? Where is this hit? What was his hit? Where is this money coming from? See, one of the these people don't have anything. Look at Diddy. Remember that? He's mortgaged to the hilt. Selena Gomez, you heard that? She's $1 billion. Bullshit. $1 billion. I don't believe that for a moment. Same thing goes for Taylor Swift. I don't believe that. I think they're rich, but they use these words. Where does this guy get his money from? And the first time he goes belly up, that immediate crew of his, family and other, they're going to take the last train for the coast. The day the music dies, they're out of town. But look how bad he is. Look at gaunt. He has that disease, that kind of like the Bell's palsy, Ramsay Hunt syndrome. How many people do you know have had Bell's palsy? You know that. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. What the hell's the matter with you? It's like
I had a friend who'd smoked too much crack and meth, and half of his face went. And so he was drooling out of one side, and he had the pipe in the other side.
Yeah, this is. There is any kind of paralysis. Remember the old days, Mary Jo Buttafuoco? She was shot by Amy Fisher. She was shot in the face. She had a paralysis, or she had the mouth particularly, always contorted. I could give you a terrible joke about it, but I'm not, because I'm a gentleman. But it amounts. It's what you can do on the side of the anyway. But look at him. He's got the blemishes. He's got the face, the pallid. Look at the wan pallor. Look at the this disease that they're talking about, which gave him the kind of the Bell's palsy thing, the Ramsay Hunt. That's like a kind of like a reuptake of like a varicella type of zoster virus. That's a different story.
You've got a question from Billy Joe. Does Justin's gaunt look? Is it a plan so he has eyes on him all the time to keep him safe?
No. No. First of all, I like Billy Joe. Now, I imagine Billy Joe is on the left. Just want to say, Dogs are better than people. Remember that. And by the way, Shaun, you probably didn't know this, but do you know why dogs lick themselves? Did you know this? This is a medical fact. Do you know why dogs lick themselves? Well, the joke used to be because they can. The answer is no, because they can't make a little fist with their paw. But now let's take what Billy Joe says. Wait till that sinks in about 2 hours later. This is a slow group here. I got to remember this. I'm used to a much quicker group. Now, let's talk about this. He wants to walk around like this so that people will see him. Great.